Wait a second.
Wait, where's CJCJ?
Wait, hold on.
Hello?
Where's...
I guess he's not coming.
Okay,
right.
are they playing
on three?
Oh my goodness! CJCJ!
Oh,
He's coming up to the bump!
tournament.
He's making it!
Look at the
He
Twitter.
needs the help, but he makes
yeah,
it
look
through.
at that. On the hood. Follow CJCJ RL.
Like, is that a Takumi?
I think there's an
I
underscore
think
there.
it is. It's got to be a Takumi.
Coming
Is he
through.
controlling the...
Hey everybody, welcome to the Worlds preview show in partnership with Renegades and Prediction Esports. I'm going to be your host, Law, alongside me, the one and only CJCJ, and my pleasure to introduce as well from one, coach that has won an award to another. It's going to be locked in.
We take those.
Apparently we take them even though we weren't supposed to. I don't know. Either way,
I mean, we've got 2 Coach of the Years here, so that's what it's all about.
well, we got a fun show for you guys over the next hour or so. We're going to be talking about the wild card and anything else you guys have for us. The show in particular is going to be an early preview as the World Championships do start officially next week, which is pretty crazy to think about. I mean, for you guys in particular, it's been a long season, but it's been an even longer wait. It feels like we're coming up on like 2.5, almost 3 years since we've had a World Championship. It's got to be pretty exciting to be able to go back for the biggest event of the year, especially after like a true circuit-based system, right? Like, it's got to be such a cool feeling.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's my first Worlds since season 6, so that was 2018. So first Worlds in 4 years. Wild. It's good to be back. I think it's just going to be, we had the tasters of the majors, but now we're going to get like 13k people in an arena. It's just going to be, tenfold on what we've seen so far. So I don't think people are ready for these Worlds, like how big it's going to be. I'm pumped.
What about you, Lachlan?
Yeah, well, it's kind of crazy to think about it because I've only been with the boys for just over a year now, so I didn't fathom that in my first year of coaching I'd make it to a world championship, which is kind of crazy to think about. But we've been sort of along the journey. It's been we've had ups and downs, but made it first OCE seed for OCE. So I'm looking forward to it. I know it's going to be massive for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited to kind of dive into that too, because it is like there's so many different phases and stages to this World Championship altogether, right? Like, this is the first time and a first for many different multitudes between, kind of like a secluded, like 1,000-person only, like early showcase with a pavilion, and then you get into 13,000 people, which is kind of crazy to think about that we're taking what we saw in LA and doubling it. So should be a lot of fun to see how that all plays out. But primarily, let's focus in on the wild card. For those that are tuning in, welcome to the show. If you guys have questions in chat, don't be afraid to tag me or any of the guys, and we'll eventually see it. We'll get to it. But we've also going to have throughout the show, not only are we going to break down and kind of just express our opinions and kind of banter a little bit about why CJ and them are going to qualify for top 8 and some other types of copium probably on my half. But we're going to talk about a lot of different things in regards to like the World Championship. But we also want to have you guys interacted. So if you guys have questions, don't be afraid to tag us. All the guys are in chat. You can also then, if you are curious, if you type !tickets in the chat as well, you do have the ability to purchase a virtual ticket, which allows you to then get into the call itself with us. You can ask a question, whether it be for one of the people individually, about all of us, any of that kind of stuff, which is a really cool way to just have a direct interaction to the show, kind of like a radio style broadcast. So pretty cool concept here that we're going to be doing. So if you guys want to do that, by all means, !tickets in the chat, we'll do it. So let's kick it off. First and foremost, I guess break it down so you guys don't have to. The wild card stage is the first one, which is a Swiss stage. Before we get into it, Swiss, for those that do not know, is you're taking teams that are in a higher seed. They play a lower seed, technically not this time, which we'll talk about in a bit here. But you have to either get 3 wins to progress to the next stage or 3 losses, you end up going home. You can play a max of 5 matches. So that is going to be the first round, and then they go into a group stage, which is double eliminate. Like, there's 3 different formats within one world champ. It's pretty nuts. It goes for 10 days. Like, there's a lot to it. We have the seeds that are 9 to 24 that are going to be competing, some for the first time ever. Out of 72 teams or 72 players, there's 51 new faces at this world championship. There's a lot. It's pretty crazy to think about. But the way they decided to do it this time is rather than being like, yo, high seed play low seed, They had you all draft opponents. Thoughts when you guys first heard Johnny Boy's like brainchild and be like, yeah, let's do it. What'd you guys think?
Yeah, we got hit up by Sonics about it. When we first heard about it, we were second seed, so I was like, "That's wicked." Pretty much
Yeah.
straight away knew we were playing an SSA, a sub-Saharan African team, because that makes logical sense. It's their first Worlds. They're the most unexposed region, I guess. So when we found that out, that was pretty exciting. But I think for the teams that are lower down, I can see why. Well, I can't. I can see why people be angry because they are getting harder matchups. But at the same time, you had to seed it some way. And
Mm.
for the teams that don't have major region points or the slots, like you have to put bias in there. So this was like the only way to do it, I guess, unbiased by having the 9 to 16 teams being the major slots because that's how the top 8 is. So you may as well have 9 to 16 the same. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's a really good way to doing it as well.
I mean, from your perspective as a coach, obviously, like there's only certain strategies that you can put in. There is some people that are talking about the different perspectives of like picking a really tough opponent to kind of get the feet wet and like going hard and like, okay, we're warmed up no matter what coming through. Do you guys think that really matters in this kind of situation, or is it something to definitely take into consideration? Because like I look at a team like one of the earlier matches, like Pioneers, Veloce, both those teams are gonna be ready to go any match from there on out. While you guys kind of can get the jitters to settle a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's definitely an interesting aspect. I think most importantly, the interesting part of it is day one is you only have one game. So even if you win, you still have that game. You don't play a second one like we did in, I believe, Sweden, where we won versus Endpoint, then had to play phase in the afternoon. Whereas I guess if the Pioneers beat Veloce, they don't have that second game afterwards to have that kind of confidence to go into. They've got to go back home to their hotel. They've got to reset and sort of hit it back tomorrow, and they could sort of regain on that confidence. And I guess on the flip side of that, for the teams that have that loss, it's also that opportunity to think about what went wrong, what went right, and what can we work upon. It's that extra little bit of time, I think, which is a bit of a bonus, which I think for some of the teams could really go in the right way for sure.
Like it's overall kind of cool to just see something different tried because usually they like send you guys to some like weird like okay you're going to DreamHack, try this weird thing, see how it goes, and then it goes from there. But to see it within a world championship too, like this is the biggest event of the year in a season that we're finally able to run it, and they're like yo curveball, like no one I thought saw this coming, which I think is why so many people liked it unless you were a lower seed. Like shout out to K Corp fans everywhere. There was some thoughts that were expressed on the Twitter sphere. So that's nothing new. But process for you guys is to pick an SSA team. Other than the outside of like, hey, they're the least experienced, and you guys couldn't pick Pirates. If you guys got the choice between Pirates and Bravado, would you have picked Pirates as well?
No, Bravado was our first pick. So basically, the teams we all had to give out like pick all the 8 teams in order. Obviously, for us, we only had to pick 2 teams because if in case
Right.
V1 picked our number 1 preference. So we went Bravado first, and I guess the reason behind that, some people, if you're not familiar with the SSA region, like Pirates have won 6 out of 9 regionals. I think Bravado won the other 3, or they won the last 2
Yeah.
regionals of spring. So they might be the form team, but at the same time, like for us, Pirates went to Saudi Gamers 8, and I think that was like good international experience. And like this region has 0 international experience, so just getting scrims in already, they basically had an earlier boot camp for Worlds. So we were happy to get Bravado. I think that V1 sort of picked Pirates based on gameplay. I guess they thought they were weaker. I think Bravado have they got the MVP, the regional MVP there as well. So they might be stronger, but I think that I don't know. We talk about LAN experience, but recently we've seen that doesn't really matter at all. But I think it's more about scrimming international teams more than LAN experience right now. So
I mean,
I think
I want to touch on that. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts about like last LAN? Like it felt so weird. There was so many sweeps, big names out immediately. Like, are we gonna get more of the same, or like is that just kind of the new thing now, where like it is so tough going in and just having an expectation because on LAN it just feels like anything can happen. Like there is no.
Yeah,
eh,
I think previously, like we had with day one, we had crowds and stuff like that, right? But now because we're getting these like at the majors, we're getting these events where the first few days is no crowd. It's really not doesn't feel like a LAN. Like you sort of you can really lock in. There's no crowd. It doesn't feel like there's much pressure. And I think you're seeing those younger, like the mechanical ball chasey teams step up because they're just playing like it's online. And then when you get to the crowd, it's a little bit more bit more balanced. Sort of that's when you see your NRGs usually shine when there's a crowd because they play a bit slower. Yeah, like they're just a bit more of a defensive, slow-paced team. Same with, I guess, you look like an Optic Gaming, how they still went all right on the crowd stage. Like just the slower paced teams seem to go all right once you get to the crowd, the pressure and stuff like that. But yeah, these early days, you're seeing these teams get knocked out because you're just seeing these liquids and like come through that are just mechanical demons. And if they're mechs on and they're ball chasing, like they're going to beat anyone. So I think that if Worlds was, we do have a crowd in wildcard, but it's still not big. I think if we had crowds like day one of every land, you wouldn't have been seeing these upsets, I don't think. So I think that's just add a little another element. It feels like a dream hack, Lawler, like the vibe. It's a bit more, everyone's in the same area, hanging out.
Everybody's vibing.
It's a bit more low key, yeah.
Yeah, like because for those that haven't been there in the past, like previous lands always had this like weird aura to them. Like there was a stigma almost of like you could feel something was different. Like you would when you were going onto stage. Like if you ever had the chance to like sit backstage, and I'm lucky that I've been privy to this, but like being able to stand backstage and watch Rogue getting ready to go on stage to compete, there is like an unsettling feeling until you get into the match. Like there's just a level of comfort that isn't there compared to like DreamHacks, where it's like you're there with the boys, you're going to the Sky Bar every night, you're having a good time. I don't know what that squeak was, but yeah, like yeah, there's like some child. Yeah, like there's a different feeling to it as well. So I can understand when you guys are kind of like in the pit or the den or whatever the heck you guys are calling it. It may not feel like the same gravity despite there being so much on the line. And I think with Pavilion, which is unique about this wild card, is there is going to be 1,000 people. It's going to be a very intimate setting, but the fact that you guys only play one match is, I think that like it changes everything in my opinion. Like in those early rounds, especially for Swiss, like you even see that in like majors too. Like when you guys are playing like double eliminations or day ones and stuff, you guys would drop to lowers and then have to play again 2 matches back to back again. And now it's like there's a gap. You take a day off, chance to reset, and get in. So it doesn't feel like it's a lot, but that stuff does make a huge difference.
I think that really suits us. Like we look back to Sweden, we rolled Endpoint, the EU #1 seed, and then people walking around anyway. We played the EU #1 seed, beat Endpoint, and then I guess the hype that we sort of got from that coming down. I don't know, these people just going off in it. Anyway, the hype that you got from that matchup, we found it hard to we found it hard to come back down. I guess into that. I think we played FaZe straight afterwards, and we were a bit overstimulated, I'd say. And the same thing, we beat Furia. We swept Furia, and then we played Semper, and we're just making a lot more mistakes and stuff like that. So we were just a little bit, we got a little bit ahead of ourselves. So I don't know if we're a momentum team. I think the 1 series a day will help us. We get to go back, reset, and then get ready again and launch straight back in.
I mean, I think that credit just goes to your coach then. Got the prep, you're prepared for the team the next day, right? Like, it just means Lachlan's doing his job, right?
Is he?
I think I am.
The best part is you're looking that way, and he's below you on Discord, and he's that way on stream. Which mine's reversed too. So the way as I'm pointing at you when I'm talking about it is we're all over the place.
Oh.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to add in when we're talking about, I guess, having, I guess, the crowds and stuff, a big thing that I always talk about with a lot of other fellow coaches, I had a pretty big in-depth chat with Eclipse and Nick about it, is the importance of having a set team culture. Some teams thrive under a LAN environment with a lot of crowds. You look at your V1s, you look at Calm, really getting involved in that environment. But then you look at other teams who maybe don't like that environment, don't like the lights, don't really thrive under that pressure. So it's really interesting to see that dynamic come out on game day, but then also when teams have that sort of underlying motivation to be like, hey, let's just embrace it. Whatever happens, happens. Let's go out there. Let's have some fun. We've put in how much effort back home. We're now at the major. We're now at Worlds, obviously next week, and it's a different dynamic. So let's just embrace it. Let's have fun and let's do what we can. So I think it's a different dynamic, and I think with that mindset, we might see some incredible upsets, which I'm really looking forward to seeing. Because I think it definitely can happen.
Bigger than BDS going 06?
That's pretty big. The bar is set high.
Well,
We'll
if you guys
see.
have seen the records of BDS in the last 2 events and a couple others, they're not good.
They're
So
0-9.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy to think about. So I don't know. Anything can happen. I think that's the best part about these events. Wildcard, I think, is arguably going to be the best Rocket League we've ever seen, with so many diversities when it comes to different regions, different competition. And we're not talking about like the best of the best, but we're talking like, hey, we've got a 3rd, 4th seed in the region playing against a 2 seed from Mina, who we've never seen play ever. Like, let's find out what happens. Like, I love that. I absolutely love it. So
We're just
I'm
throwing
looking
teams
forward
into
to
the
it.
fire.
Hey, you picked them, man. You picked those teams. So it's your fire. All right. Either way, I'm excited to throw one of our lucky viewers into the fire. We've got a question from Jack Munt that's going to be happening up next here as we welcome to the call. Jack, floor is yours. What question you got for us?
Well, CJCJ and LBP, we meet again.
My God.
I'm the person that came to your boot camp at the Winter Major, just as like for some reference. So, I have to ask, will you choke at Worlds?
This guy's really hard, isn't he?
Oh.
He was doing this at the boot camp as well. He was coming in. He had
had a
85.
list.
He had 85,000 questions, and they were like, who's the worst player on the team? Who do you want to change teams? I don't know. What do you define as choke? I guess I think we should beat teams we should beat, and then we'll hopefully have a crack at teams we might not be able to beat. But I don't know. I think we've been pretty consistent. I guess this season at majors internationally. We've beaten Endpoint, beaten Furia twice. We got some good raps. Look at the highlights coming up at OCE as well. Have a crack at those. Oh no, is that the one you're bringing up? Yeah, that wasn't great. Look, Jack. Let's just say we're going to miss a couple open nets. All right, we might have a couple own goals, but it's if you define that as a choke, then go ahead. But if you don't, we're going to probably still win the series. We'll take it out, but we'll have some fun along the way. That's the OCE region. That's what we bring. A little bit of chaos. We don't know what's going to happen. They don't know what's going to happen, and hopefully it just turns our way.
Do you have anything planned for your walkout? This is assuming that you actually make it to championship someday.
Yeah, well, exactly. So I don't really want to plan that far ahead. So I'd like to get out of wild card first, and then get out of main event, or get out of top 16, make top 8. So it's one step at a time. One step at a time.
I personally like the gritty. I've been practicing it. I know the others don't like it, so they probably won't follow along. But we'll see.
There's going to be another walkout where one of the members is not missing, and it's actually just going to be Lachlan do the gritty, and all 3 players will be like, "All you, man, go ahead." Like we're gonna be back here in the smoke. I'm good.
I'll take the lead. I'll take the lead.
All right, Jack, we appreciate it, man. Any other
Thanks for
questions? You got
having-
one last one on the? No, he's gone. Never mind. Goodbye, Jack. Just like that. No, he's back.
Okay.
He's back.
Oh,
Jack,
I'm
you always
back.
have one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give you
Alright.
one last one. What do you got?
I have a legit question, and this is mainly for coach, the coach here. Do you have any advice for mental when it comes to Rocket League?
Yeah, I guess the first question is to define what you mean by mental, whether it be in game, whether it be out of game, because obviously there's different elements, right? Is it more so, getting tilted? Is it more so dealing with toxicity? There's a wide, like, sort of an angle that we can sort of talk about there. Is there a specific sort of mental approach that you were thinking about?
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of ones recently, and that I know what happens there.
I do.
Yeah, so I think I just need to, I don't know. I need to
Need
figure
a
out how
tilt
to.
coach.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you not get tilted, Lockie?
Yeah, it's hard because I do it myself, and I think all good mental coaches do. It's a tricky barrier to fall. I think the most important thing is understanding your goal. Is that to sit down and play and win 5 games? And once you do that, you know that you've achieved your goal. Is it to do something else? Is it to set like a more of a midterm goal, whether it be a week long to, I guess, go from GC1 to GC2, for example? Having a goal, I think, is the most important thing. And then within that goal, having smaller goals, so that when you hit those smaller goals, there's a sign of self-accomplishment. There's a sign of progress. And I think when you see that progress, the sort of mental strain that you take within yourself when you play those 1 games is a little bit less daunting. It's a little bit, it's okay. But at the end of the day, I achieved my goal. And I think also the most important thing as well is taking breaks. I think when we sit down and play for, especially once, 2 hours, 3 hours, just queuing back to back to back, we can start to maybe, be a bit more aggressive. We can start to rush our, what we want to do. So I think splitting it up and having different breaks here and there is one of the most important things we can do for sure.
All right,
Can I
thank
just
you
tack
so
in
much.
there?
Oh yeah.
Just look, the demon's saying that, but really he just jumps on his exercise bike and just goes demon mode for about 5.5 minutes if he gets tilted. But I think on that, I get a lot of questions as well surrounding like, oh, how do I improve quicker, or like I want to be, I'm Diamond 1, how do I get to SSL, stuff like that. I think you've really got to fall in love with the process. Like you can set goals to get to this rank or hit that rank, but if you're not enjoying like the grind and you're not enjoying practicing, it's the same in like a 1v1. If you're getting conceding kickoff goals, if you're just going, oh well, that sucks, or if you're actually going, okay, what happened there, how do I work on that, what am I going to do next time, or anytime you make a mistake, if you're actually analyzing yourself and trying to improve and you're like really enjoying that aspect, then you'll find yourself improving a lot quicker. And yeah, I think that it's like that cliche, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. So really fall in love with practicing and that sort of stuff, which is, I guess, yeah. I guess like us, like we still have fun vibing, hanging out, playing scrims. We're not like, oh, we have to do this, we have to do that. Like, and this is all just boring stuff along the way. Like, this is what we love. We love coming to boot camp, hanging out with the boys, and having fun. So, same when you're playing ones or twos or threes, like fall in love with the process, fall in love with, if you're gonna lose games, getting better and improving and stuff like that. That's how all the pros got better. That's why Daniel right now has 130 hours. Because he just loves improving and grinding.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for having me. By the way, Lawler, I'm Gio from your chat, just so you know who
Yeah,
I am.
I figured as much. If you're harassing them during the winter, yeah, it's Gio.
All right. Well, thank you for having me.
Enjoy that, brother.
Jack, thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Crazy stuff, man. Yeah, the mental's a big one. The person I heard say it best in the OG days.
Where have you got that from? Where have they got that from then?
Oh
Demon.
my god! I
Right
love this production. I love this production.
Where have they got that from then? Keep the shorts, ladies and gentlemen. That is speed. We're hitting these lungs on that.
if you're doing the gritty in that on the way out, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm a little scared. Yeah,
It's
I
not
think
packed,
the
I
mental.
can confirm.
Yeah, I remember Kronovi saying it like in the OG days, like you should play for the intent to improve, not to win. And I think that helps a lot of people, especially ones. So pretty exciting stuff. Obviously, we're going to switch gears and start talking about specifics. Our Swiss matchups have finally got announced. We know who's playing in our first rounds, which is really exciting to kick everything off. Out of the gate, I think there's probably two matches that stand out the most, but there's one in particular that I think we as a collective are really excited about. Kansas City Pioneers versus Veloce. I think that's the one that a lot of us have on our radars. For you guys specifically, what about that match excites you guys?
Well, I just think it's an interesting pick. I think the fact that we do have the draft picks sort of adds that extra element of pressure, I guess, on the team that picks the other team, because you chose this matchup, so now you better win it. And I think for Pioneers, like they roll BDS, they swept BDS 3-0, and you've got a team like Semper, who's the EU 6th seed coming in, sneaking into the wild card, who are really good. They're sort of looking out of form, I'd say. Archie's obviously left them. They're looking a bit like their heart's been ripped out. You'd think you'd sort of go that way, or I guess you could look at Optic as well. But Veloce, I don't know. I feel like they've proven as a region, maybe just how dangerous they can be. Maybe they did it because they thought the visa issues. I remember they sort of came in here and joked about it, like we might not be playing them, like they're going for the buy round. But now I think they're all coming, so I think they're going to be eating their words there.
They did confirm this morning that they are going to be there. So
yeah, so they're all going to be there. So I think the fact that they picked them and they've sort of gone, well, this is the weakest team out of these options, it just adds that extra spice. And I think that I don't know, it's just a freak region, aren't they? They're just they're just good.
Yeah, we scrimmed I think it was 2 out of the 3 members of Veloce in Saudi. It was Afl Esports, I think. We scrimmed them twice, and they were a good team. Obviously not encompassing the whole Veloce roster. So I'm definitely excited to see how they go over here as well, for sure, because they definitely were performing pretty well in Saudi.
Yeah, I think they're a team that a lot of people obviously know the Falcons / Sandrock. They've won literally everything, but they did bleed a couple times. I talked about this stat today on stream earlier about how Falcons over the course of the entire season, from Regional 1 of Fall Split all the way till Spring Regional 3, their second round in, so their second match out of like their 4 or 5 or whatever they played, they were only outshot once the entire time. And
Yeah,
to hear that and then still know that like teams like Sites and stuff were knocking them down, like it goes to show like, okay, they're efficient with their accuracy, like they're very dangerous on offense, like they're a team that should definitely be feared. So I think seeing that against a Pioneers team that's definitely proved themselves, right? Like Pioneers have been playing pretty dang well. Obviously you guys know all about that. So that stuff has been very exciting to see, more competition and the depth growing from multiple regions now that there's like consistent competition, especially for the minors for the first time in 5 years. So um, again, a lot of people have been asking. August 4th is when Worlds starts for the wildcard stage. They're going to be playing in round 1, which were the matches that just showed up. Out of all those, I think some obvious favorites to go through that I have. What about you guys? Is there any, like, if you had to pick like 3 or 4 teams that are for sure going to make it through, who do you got?
obviously us. First up, we'll just tick that off the list. I
Tick
think
it
the
off.
V1 are
Copium.
just the best. V1 are just the best group stage team ever. Like they just
Yeah.
9-0 every event, so that they're a pretty safe bet. I'd probably say Space Station always find a way to get through, no matter like they can look shaky and they'll still scratch their way through. Dignitas obviously get the easy first matchup. That sort of reminds me of Sweden, where they had, I think, APAC and then they just rolled straight through into a 9-0. I think they're a very momentum-based team, but they do get the days off. Because I remember in Sweden, they played like 3 series in like a day or something and just had Friday off, and then they got swept on Saturday by Semper.
Yeah.
So,
The team that they beat 4 times previously, and then the one time they need to win, they lose.
yeah, I feel like Dig is just a team that we talk about the crowd and stuff. They really struggle with that sort of stuff. I feel like just with the getting in the mental game, like you're versing a V1 or something, like the mental side of the game when you're standing across from other people. I think they don't really like that sort of stuff. Same with the guess they verse Pioneers and stuff, and they haven't looked too hot on land. So I think given the Gladiators, they'll have a good run, but apart from that, it's up in the air. I think Optic will find a way to get through. They always seem to do that.
I like K Corp. I feel like they've got a pretty good chance of making it through. They had a pretty good run in London, so it'll be interesting to see them. Obviously, 01 Esports first round matchup. That'll be really interesting. I'm personally hyped for that match. Probably.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
My second favorite match apart from ours. So yeah, that's going to be a really good one. Optic, I think a lot of people were saying, Optic. I think most people were saying three NA, 3 EU. They were just making the assumption that Optic's going to make it through. It'll be interesting to see their form in this Swish. I've got pretty high confidence for them, but again, we'll see how they go. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I think for
What do you
mine,
got, Lawler?
like SSG is a pretty surefire. I mean, Baby Dan, how do you bet against that, right? Obviously, my own copium with V1. Got to see them do well. But I don't think anybody's safe. I also like that Team Secret Semper match. I think Secret could possibly win that. So
yeah,
there's definitely upset potential in this bracket in the early rounds, which can definitely favor the teams in the first round. Like if you see an upset like Secret beats Semper, and then all of a sudden like you guys get to play Secret, like that's a free win, right? Because you guys just built different against South America,
Get us
right?
against Sam,
Yeah,
we should have picked
how it
Sam.
goes.
Really, I don't know why we didn't. It's crazy.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that, but I'm also excited about our next caller. We got Michael Nutt on the line here in just a second. He's gonna have some questions for everybody as we pull him in. Michael, welcome to the stream. What questions you got for the boys?
Hi, I just want to say, first of all, good luck to the Renegades boys. Love watching you play.
Legend.
Unfortunately, like watching CJCJ on the guessing table more. So, there's a chance I might be rooting
Everyone
against you
says
in
that.
there.
Everyone
I like
says
this guy.
that.
Anyway,
appreciate
I wanted to ask you guys, when we're looking at past world championships, most of the time we're remembering who actually won the world championship. Do you think at this World Championship, do you think there will be any storylines besides just the winner that we'll be talking about months and years down the line?
Oh, 100%. I know one in particular.
I think for me, if I'll go first, it's probably it could be the MENA, like just the real foundation of MENA. Like if Falcons win Worlds, I know they got second in the major, but I think that if they win Worlds and say an 0-1 or a Veloce come up as well, that'll just really put the exclamation mark on that region. Like that region could just take over everyone the way they're playing. Sort of what we saw at Saudi, a taster of their mechanics and stuff like that. It was scary. So I think it could be the founding of MENA, or the other storyline we're hoping is like the return of OCE, into the top 8, top 6, top 4. If we can get a run like that we had Chiefs season 6, 4th place, that'd be crazy. So that's what we're going for. But MENA are that region that everyone's going to be talking about. I think Johnny Boy's loving it. He's looking like the founding father of the region, getting them into RLCS.
Like, they act like that in Gamers 8, bro. Like, you got a whole crowd cheering just for Johnny. Like, I mean, I get it. He pushed that through. Lachlan, what do you got? Any storylines that you think are going to be huge?
I think I'm literally on the same, like literally on the back end of that with CJ. I think Falcons. I was just looking at their spring major. 3-1 against FaZe, 4-3 against SSG, 4-3 against V1. I think from the spring major, they know that they can do it. I think they're going to be riding that confidence wave into Worlds. So I reckon we could see definitely MENA world champs. I say that pretty confidently. Apart from us potentially, but
or Furia, we'll give it to Furia.
Yeah, or Furia again. Obviously, winning Gamers 8 is massive. They've got that confidence leading into the back end of it, and we all know that momentum is a massive thing within this esport. So I think it's going to be really interesting.
I saw a card at the Gucci store as well, so they're already spending that bank.
I mean, they did just win like 400K, split 3 ways. So like they're doing okay. Don't forget, boys. You gotta pay taxes on that. Like, don't spend it all. Like, you don't want to make that mistake. No, I think you guys are like, obviously, you guys are focusing in on the right things, but flip it on its head. Like, talk about the negatives. Like, energy possibly doesn't bounce back. BDS, like, where are they gonna go? Like, I think there could be some conversations around the like next generation, the new era, or some of these long-standing rosters. Like, we've seen so many times where roster changes happen so abruptly because of the fact of like seasons only being 3-4 months. All said and done, maybe like 6 total after gameplay breaks and all that kind of stuff. So you see that kind of conversation, and now you've got a team in NRG that formed at the beginning of COVID after dropping a world championship team with Turbo Pulsa. You bring in Squishy, Justin to work together, and they've been nothing but successful until roughly midwinter. So like, we all know that NRG has potential. They're also the only team with a full world championship winning roster. Like, we know they have potential to go through that lower bracket or otherwise in groups and then make a run on the final day, just like anybody else. Like, if you make top 8, there's a guarantee for you to win in some capacity. Like, anybody in that top 8 has so much potential to make it, I think, in that opinion, if you get to that stage. So what happens if NRG goes 0-2 in groups?
I think
think about the conversation and like, there's gonna be a lot of people talking about that. Is there a roster change? Like, there's gonna be some impactful times where it's like, yo, this dynasty of 3 world championship players no longer together. Like, what if that happens?
It's literally someone just vacuum cleaning on the other side as well. Anyway,
we can't hear that, so that's great.
Awesome. Speaking to NA pros though, like I was talking the other day, and I'm going to name names, but that we're sort of saying like, if NRG are in wildcard, they don't think they make it out. Like the way they're playing right now, the way they're scrimming. So
I mean, that's the difference. If V1 wins against top 2, like, then energy isn't like, that's the difference you're talking about. Like, it came down to 1 goal or like 1 game.
Should have beat Falcons, yeah.
Just a lot of teams should have beat Falcons, but I mean, Falcons pretty good. So, like,
I don't think NRG are making a run. I think the world champs could do different things though. Like, everything feels scripted, you know what I mean? So Garrett's always
it's all part of the plan, man. We all know Turbo's gonna get subbed in and he's gonna win his 5th. Like, that's the real storyline we're looking for, right?
That'd be insane. I think he's happy. Not actually. I want to say I think he's happy coaching. Obviously, he'd rather be playing, but yeah, I don't know. Turbo's so funny. Gotta love him. I want to see him back on the pitch. I don't know if he'll ever retire. I think he's just born and bred for Rocket League. But yeah, we'll see how Optic go. They actually look good. They scrimmed with him before Drees came in London, and they look really good according to all reports. So maybe he's back on the grind. He just need that little kick in the bum, to get grinding again.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Michael, great question, man. I'm looking forward to it. We'll have to kind of revisit this conversation after off season happens and the roster changes happen and we start 21-20 or 22-23 season and be man, maybe there was some bigger storylines we didn't know about. But no, great question. Good thing to think about, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you
Pleasure,
for
Michael.
Enjoy your night, man.
talking to you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
That's gonna be plaguing my brain for the rest of the championship. Oh, what storyline did Michael want us to think about? Maybe he knows. Maybe he's the scriptwriter. We don't know.
I don't think he was satisfied with that, was he? He was waiting to hear APAC win. Or
APAC.
something.
I was thinking APAC. Yeah. APAC make top 8.
Imagine.
Can you imagine Tokyo Verde comes out of nowhere and it's just bap?
Yeah. Realize just starts popping off crazily. I mean, yeah.
I will say that Detonator team looks pretty good at Gamers 8. In threes, they look solid.
We nearly lost to Gladiators as well. We went to game 5 with OSM.
Yeah, but it's you guys. I'm not surprised by that.
Well, yeah, I think with that, it was. I'm looking forward to just playing threes. I think we played 2s and 1s. I think let's get us back to 3s. It's so hard to go 3v3 into a 2v2 into a 3v3 into a 1v1 into a 3v3. Just let us roll through the 3s.
Did you guys listen to the first touch about the weight Gamers 8 has on where teams
I heard
stand
that
right now?
T-Bait said it's irrelevant.
I think it's relevant only to a certain degree.
I think it was just a bit of fun, a bit of a boot camp before Worlds. I think everyone was sort of treating it. Obviously, the prize money was insane, but I think everyone was sort of just treating it as that pre-Worlds boot camp. Look at this shot from Thieves coming up, by the way. I remember this.
Oh, the fake.
Overtime to win.
To win, and then wait for it.
Oh, my.
So good. I hit those from time to time.
Look at the reaction. We're happy with that.
You guys won the series, so CJ has to run to the other room. That's just.
We won the whole. Excited. That was a regional. Bum. Done.
Yeah, that was a regional.
Left his house.
Love it.
I see you, Caleb. There's people in chat talking absolute blasphemy as well. Righteous coming in
it's all. Yeah, I gave him VIP for what he said.
Nah, he's trying to.
Not because he's the homie.
Catch these hands at land, brother.
And he's hooking us up at the concert. This is his obligation now to hook us up at the concert. It's because he said very, very true things about CJ. That's what he does.
Unreal.
Is there any? I'm gonna ask you guys a particular question, and then we're gonna bring in one more. Is there one person that you really look forward to seeing at LAN? Out of all of the community members, all that kind of stuff. Is there one person that you're just I don't get to see you until these events kind of come around, and then you're heck yeah. Caleb, you're second. Brownie points aren't working here.
It's hard to. You can't say that. Yeah. You can't say who's the one per. I think I look forward to seeing it. It's the whole community. For me, it's this feels like a whole nother world when I come to LAN. When I'm at home, I'm just I'm not CJ. I'm just Cameron hanging out at home and just doing my thing. It's and now all of a sudden you go to a LAN, it's this whole different world. So it's hard to say one person. I think just this whole community. I think I tweeted it a couple of weeks ago. We just got the best community. Everyone you meet, everyone's so nice. Everyone wants to take a photo or chat to you, or everyone's just so welcoming. No one's really rude at LAN, and then all the players are really nice. We don't have the COD beef or maybe in CS:GO. I don't know how they go there, but it's a big family. So yeah, I'm going to put out Mumzo. I haven't seen Mumzo for so long. I'm gonna pick her out there. We cannot wait to see her. I know she'll be there. So I'm going to take all that back. I'm only excited to see Mumzo.
Janine, good to see you in chat. That's how close me and Mumzo are. We go by first name basis.
She's my mother, so I don't need to call her a first name.
You should out of respect. You put some authority on that name. No, jokes aside, we're gonna bring Nathan into the call. He's got a question for us. Nathan, floor is yours. What do you got?
Ninth Dog.
Ninth Dog's just hanging out. He's just listening.
Yeah. Nathan's just vibing with us in the chat. It's fine.
He's vibing.
He's vibing.
Nathan, you let us know when you're ready. Maybe not. Maybe we got Joey. Do we have Joey? Is Joey in chat? In the comments?
Hello.
Hey, Joey.
Hey, hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Good, brother. How are you?
He's our water boy. If anyone doesn't know, our number one water boy, streamer of our Friday regionals as well, Mr. Nando. He's a number one supporter, number one water boy in esports.
Too kind, too kind. How you doing?
Good, mate. Good.
Brilliant.
So, quick question: what was your favorite format for the whole season? And if you could, what would you like to introduce next season?
I'll go
That's
first.
easy.
I think I love Swiss. I just think it gives the best. Like it's just consistent. It gives the best teams the best opportunity. Some people might say it's boring, but as a player, I love it. I love it. Just win 3 before you lose 3. Like it just makes sense. The seeding usually each round makes sense as well. You want to win the most games. You want to get 3-0s. And yeah, I just really enjoy Swiss. I think it's the best format compared to anything else. Swiss into single elim. Yeah, it's the best format. I don't like the bracket resets or anything like that, Nando. So I'll go the Swiss. What was your second question? Say something after that. What do you want next season?
What would you introduce?
Yeah. Let me go. I always say the AFL Finals format. So like the top
bracket.
4, the hybrid. Yeah, top 4 get a second chance, and then 5th to 8 are like single elim. So your top 4 get a chance to go straight through to the semi or the winners final, and then your 5 to 8 have to play off in do or die games. I like that. Rewards the top 4. We haven't done it yet. I think it's coming next season. So I don't want to give you guys a little insight, but I've talked to a few people who know some people. I think we're whipping it in. That should be fun.
Hey.
What about you lot?
I feel like I'm the same. Like I didn't really like groups. I feel like groups is pretty tricky because you're just enclosed in the box, that square that sits on Wikipedia, knowing that you're in that group. I think I like the Swiss. Same with you. I think having to win 3, and then obviously the opportunity to lose 3, you can play a max of 5 games. I think it allows for that vast opponent pool. I think that's really a valuable sort of opportunity, sort of before you go into single or double elim. I think I really like Swiss the most. I don't know what I would add in though. I'm not too much of a bracket Andy. I haven't really thought about that question yet, so yeah. But just Swiss is definitely my favourite for sure. So keen for this Worlds.
Yeah,
I'm in agreement with anything but double elimination. Just get rid of double elimination. I never want to see it again. Anybody who's been on this channel knows that Swiss is the best and always will be. I think formats wise should definitely go from like a group into a single elim, just because like players having 20 million lives is making these broadcasts take 12 hours, and ain't nobody need that. So if you're gonna have 3 regionals, you got to find a way to get through them to a point to make them like strict. Like, hey, if you lost in regional 1, 2 and 3 are there to make up for it, and having Swiss into like a single elim or something like that is really good. So I think Swiss is the best, but if you do groups like single elim or like Swiss groups, round robin groups, and then like something that's not double elimination groups or even double elim groups is better than just like straight double elim. I think it's a way to weed out teams and get the process going and then give us the intensity. And I know a lot of people don't like Swiss. The only thing with Swiss that they need to fix is like how they do seeding. Like there's like that's going to be the big focus I think during the off season is finding a way to like shore up the seeding and make things more solidified in the way that like the process happens, because there was a lot of people upset with like how they determined like 3 most recent. Oh, now it's RLCS points. Now it's like it's got to be consistent. And then for next season, God, I have no idea. I do like the APL format. It is pretty sick. Like it rewards both sides. Like that APL format is actually really cool. So fingers crossed that CJ's not capping us.
No, I think we're on here. I'm talking to people. Do you think? I think I said it ages ago. Anything in a single elim is way better than like any format. Just give us single elim, because I think the worst part is the bracket reset or the best of sets grand finals. Like it just
So
drags.
Oh god, do you remember when they were gonna do this final day? Like originally they were gonna do this final day of 7 best of 7s, and then the last series was a best of set 2 for the grand finals for the Worlds. Like that was the original plan.
Best of 3, best of 7s is just so
God.
long. It is just. I think for other games, because you look at Rocket League doesn't go for that long compared to say League might play a best of 5 and they're hour-long games or 30 to 50 minutes. But like Rocket League is so intense. Like you're on, you're focused the whole time. You don't die in Rocket League and you got a minute to respawn.
There you go, CJ. You put those away.
Yeah, that's I think both my teammates missed an open net for that overtime. So I thought I had to put one away.
No, they're faking. That's the Moist special right there.
But yeah, it's literally yeah, Rocket League, you just don't stop. It's just such a mentally draining game. So to do potentially a best of 3, best of 7s, like we did against Ground Zero, we had a 21 game series. We had 3 game 7s. And it's just like, oh, I've had enough. Like, we should have a gentleman's agreement, call it after 1. So the single alien's always better.
Appreciate it, Joey. Good question, man.
thank
Looking
you.
forward to
Take
the
care.
evolution.
Thanks, Nando.
Thank you.
All right, Nathan, we're gonna try this again. What do you got for us? You know, I think production's messing with us at this point.
I think they're messing. He said
Because
he's
I see
ready.
Nathan, his hand is being raised. He's here,
Muting him.
but I don't see him like popping into the voice channel up top. I don't know what's going on. You know how it has like our names up top
Yeah,
in
I
the
see what
thing?
you mean.
Nathan's doesn't appear, so I don't know what's going on with that. They can hear him, but we can't. So I'm not exactly sure what the situation is because chat can hear him, but we can't. So like, you guys just dragged him into the live on air, and his name doesn't pop up for like the HMC client.
I agree with Nathan. I think he's brought some good points so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's probably been our best guest, actually.
Yeah, he doesn't appear in the in the admin panel, so we can't hear him in client. So, admins or people in chat, do you guys know what Nathan's question is? I mean, you guys can hear him.
Apparently, chat can't hear him. That's what chat's saying.
Trolling.
Thanks, chat.
Chat's
Appreciate
trolling
you guys,
again.
chat. Well done. Well done. Chat, you get one. You get one. Well, unfortunately, we're gonna have to figure out what's going on with Nathan. But yeah, for some reason he's not popping up in the admin, so we can't unfortunately hear him, which stinks.
Oh, we got a question in the chat there. Discord.
Nathan wants to know during the what?
The do.
During the
do.
do.
Secret would rather play Optic
During the
or
blank, do you think Secret would rather play Optic or
Semper?
Semper? I think that's what it is. Yeah, I think
True.
during wildcards, do you think Secret would rather play Optic or Semper?
I think Semper's an easier team. I think Optic have that, like... I think Semper are a bit like of a loose cannon, and they don't really have it figured out right now, whereas Optic, at least, like, they don't do anything, but they've got it locked down in defense. Like, they'll have 3 in net. So they're probably a harder wall to break. The Optic Gaming. Mist is one of the best defenders in the world, no matter what team he's on. So I think Optic's always scary at land. They're suited to land. That's why they actually, went all right. They went into main stage and beat... who'd they beat? Was it a Sam team? They might have beat a Sam team. I don't know. So maybe Chad will remember. They definitely won a game on stage in London as well. So they're always, they got a good play style for land. It's similar we talk about NRG and stuff like that. The more pressure, the more of a crowd, the slower people play, the worse the mechanics. And then you bring in like who's got the best defense and who locks it down. So yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Plus,
yeah, playstyle wise, Optic is definitely one of those that like they'll play you passively and punish you for every mistake. And Secret, although very talented and stuff, I think they do still fall under susceptibility to like some of the like old Sam Woes where they're a little bit too over aggressive. They overextend a little bit. They fall susceptible to like counterattacks and stuff. Their offense when it's clicking is incredible, and you saw like when it's playing well what they can do to a team like BDS. So, but Semper's like chaos incarnate right now. Like I think they're still trying to figure out what the heck they're doing. So I think that's kind of leans into who they drafted for a reason. So go ahead, Lachlan. I'm dying.
Yeah, no, I was going to say the same thing. I think that Secret have that EU confidence sweeping BDS. I think they're going to be running with that. I think that's going to be their main direction. Semper for sure.
Well, Nathan, unfortunately, we can't hear you talk. What about now? Try now, Nathan.
All good. Can you guys hear me?
Hey! Oh my
He's got
God.
such a lovely voice too. Maybe that
He
was
sounds
it. It was for our
exactly as I
sake.
thought he sounded. That's crazy.
Yeah, you know it. Yo, Dad Boy here, by the way, Lawler.
Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah. So also I had another question. Have you guys heard of like any chants being organized for Worlds? Because I know that there was like whole Discord set up and things organized for Landon, but I haven't seen anything come up for Worlds yet.
That's a good question. I haven't seen anything either, but I'm sure there should be. I've seen like Reddit posts of people doing
Yeah.
with chants and stuff, but I haven't actually seen. There was just literally a spreadsheet, wasn't there, for Landon with Craftman had organised. I don't know if Craftman's going to Worlds, so that might be the problem. But maybe I'll put a tweet out and we'll see. We'll find out something. But unless Lawler knows, he could be the
So
man.
there is an RL chance on Twitter, but they haven't been active.
They're
from the
very
looks of
EU
it.
based. The
Yeah,
RL chants.
because it is Craftman that usually is the one.
It's
So
Craftman, Cole Stumpy, and the boys. Yeah.
yeah, so I would probably just like make a Reddit thread, honestly, and just be like, "Yo, is there a place where chants are being coordinated? And if not, like kickstart it." I do know there's been some people that are like talking about it. I've seen like whispers of being like, "Oh yeah, I'll add that to the chance list and this and that." Like what's his name? There's a player named Happy Meal, and if they don't do the bada ba ba ba, I'm loving it. Anytime he scores, I'm gonna lose it. So like, there's certain things where some guy like heard that, he's like, "Oh, I'm totally adding that to the list." I'm like, "What list? Where is it?" So, yeah, I think one of us will just have to like tweet it out or something and see what's going on.
Awesome.
We got
Thanks.
one more here. Legend,
Hey.
thank you.
Yeah,
Legend,
appreciate it, Nathan. Glad we got to hear you, man.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Nathan.
awesome. Thanks, guys.
Enjoy your night,
appreciate it.
brother.
All right, next guest, bring him in. Bring him in. Who we got? Who we got?
Johnny. Apparently.
He's not here yet. Hello.
Apparently, John.
Johnny.
Johnny.
Yeah, there we go. John,
J
what question you
Dog.
got?
CC, what up,
Hello,
brother?
everybody. Hello.
There you go.
My God.
Yeah, CJ. Finally, nice time to talk to you.
Hell yeah.
All right. I got some pretty good questions here. So I'll start with you, CJ. This year, obviously, you've had a really big increase in like notoriety with the general populace, and like with especially I think a lot of the free play players are getting to see you for the first time now that we have lands back. But
I thought you meant like the free play, like training free play players.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, well, you've been putting in the hours. I see it. And we've been seeing you on the desk a lot more. So after you're done playing, is this a path you see yourself continuing on, or like, and how do you make that decision of when to make that swap?
Oh, it's a really interesting. I think that is a interesting decision or an interesting question you've asked there. Look, CCB's coming in thinking about it. Obviously, like it is a path that I'd like to go down. Like I've always sort of, I don't know, I'm trending towards that way, I guess. But you know, #1 seed here in OCE is pretty good. So still feel like I'm playing well. I actually was #1 rated on Octane GG. K-Dog loves that stat. So for the whole season in OCE. So you could say that, you know, they're clearly the #1 player right here in OCEs. You know, could be hanging up the boots, but let's win Worlds and then we'll see what happens after that. But yeah, I would love to join the desk eventually. Because it's good fun out there. I like the vibe they've got. It's good fun. You get to hang out. It's less, you know, this stat, that stat, you know, and more about just, you know, vibing with the boys and bringing a bit of knowledge, but bringing that like entertainment as well. So it's good fun. And I think if I enjoy it, then I'll want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, unlike apparently most people, I actually enjoy getting to watch you play still. So
I appreciate you're the first person ever said that. So I appreciate you because everyone else, I was playing in Saudi.
CJ, if you didn't make it hurt so goddamn much, it wouldn't be a problem.
Someone in
Well, I
Saudi,
didn't
I was
say it was
watching
easy.
the Twitch chat, and someone's like, "Wait, is this CJ the caster?" So that's when you know, like, I'm in trouble. When people are
Well,
recognizing
you're
me
not
from
the
desk,
podcaster anymore, so
or the streamer right now. I'll get back on the
No.
stream, so don't worry about that. I just need
That's
to.
how he gets the #1 rating, right?
afterwards.
Yeah.
All right,
got a lot of time.
I got a question for LBP too.
Yo.
So
Yeah, hit him.
you're relatively new into RLCS. Obviously, you've been with the team for a while now, but you're more known for the mental side of coaching. But have you found yourself kind of learning more of the actual gameplay and play style side, where you can help the team here and there with small notices and adjustments throughout the games?
Yeah, 100%. I think sitting in scrims for X amount of times, I can't remember. I think I got like over 1K hours, and I think probably about 50 of those hours is actually playing the game myself. So I've definitely rocked up a lot of scrim hours. But I think most importantly as well is, I guess, when I jump on Mindflickers and have a chat with, you know, Nick, or have a chat with Eclipse, have a chat with Chrome, having a chat with some of these fantastic coaches in the game and learning what they're doing in different situations. I'm sort of kind of blending off their methodology for coaching as well, and sort of understanding different situations, learning rotations, learning different kickoffs, learning all these sort of intricacies that I never thought I would have actually been able to do from the start, because obviously I came into it from, like you said, from that mental perspective, and was pretty solid on that. But now I'm sort of understanding both domains, and I think that's definitely working in my favor to understand the game a little bit more, see where I can, I guess, add in and change some things if required, for sure.
Awesome. And I don't want to leave you out, Lawler, even though we get to talk pretty often. But
I'm
what's the biggest change you would like to see coming into the RLCS, either next season or maybe even the season after? Because I mean,
Wow.
these seasons are coming up quick. But what is that one big thing that you might be looking for that'll shake things up?
No, I think probably the number one thing is I still think there is so much they can do content wise, like rookie profiles. Like when Daniel came in, why was there no rookie profile, no sit down interview, no like the ability to build up these players to the personalities that they are. Like a lot of people who don't watch OCE still know CJ because the personality that comes through, the charismatic side of him that he has done on his own account. And yes, those moments have been created, and Psyonix decides to like show light and shed light to those, like the walkouts and stuff. But those things don't happen unless CJ does those things. So finding ways in capacity, I think it would be awesome if they did like a show match at the beginning of the season and like did like an all-star event, or found a way to showcase the players and then create B-roll and media content at that event, as well as a place for them to hang out and like kind of show, kind of like a BTS thing, but use that as a excuse to do media stuff that they can release throughout the entire season. Because regionals candidly kind of get a little stale. It is the same copy paste, and yes, the graphic packages change and they have the hype chamber and stuff, but the reason why Worlds is so awesome is not only because everybody's there in person, but then you also have these cool content pieces. You have stuff like the Rizzo retirement videos and stuff. Those things don't exist throughout the season. Like they just don't happen. So finding a way to make more high produced content for break plates, and like rather than sitting for 10 minutes doing nothing watching ads on repeat, give me a funny video, give me an interview with a player, give me showcase, find ways to build up these personalities and these players so they can be the true like superstars that they are. I think that stuff is something that needs to heavily be done.
I think the player spotlights they used to do, they did one on Kronovi, Dapper, Mets and Oris. Like they actually flew to their place, flew to their house. Like they're still the best videos I made. You just find out so much about their personal life and stuff. So, Sonics, if you're listening, get on down to Tasmania. I'll show you around the countryside.
I feel that the production team that's got to go to hang out with CJ. Gosh,
come down and hang out with me.
Dodge getting eaten by spiders and stuff. Like, no.
That'll be fun.
All right, John, we appreciate the questions, man. Thank you. Thank you for joining the call and everything, man.
Thank you guys. Good luck, of course, and I'll be watching.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. All right. I think we might have one or two potentially for an audio question. Otherwise, we might have to switch over to Twitch chat. I know you guys are only at the venue for a little bit longer, so we're gonna go up until we can, and then go from there. But I know we have a couple here. So in the meantime, while we're waiting to see what production wants to do, if they just drop somebody in here sick, and then we'll go from there. But otherwise, Jack is back, it looks like. Hello, Jack.
Oh, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you, Jack. What's up?
All right, awesome. I would like to just bring up something that's very useful. A little bit of friendly banter. I will not get into the intricacies. Like, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm not very good with words, but I would just like to point out that at the boot camp, I did beat Fever in a 1v1. You know, that can't be the best look for him. A Diamond 3-1s player.
Did you? Did you actually?
Yeah. He may or may not have been playing on keyboard and mouse, but you know this.
Oh,
that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant.
I thought you beat him like just before in a 1v1. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, he played KBM and yeah, okay, that's fair. But you're a keyboard mouse player, aren't you yourself, Gio?
Yeah.
So.
I have a question. Like about keyboard and mouse type stuff. At Worlds, I know people we'll bring like controllers to sign and sometimes like hook up to a computer or whatever. Do you think it would be okay for me to bring my keyboard and mouse, or is that too big?
I mean,
If you can fit it in your carry-on, do it up, man.
I've definitely signed weirder things than a keyboard and mouse, so I think maybe a mouse would be easier to take. But no, big ups to keyboard mouse players. I saw that video the other day. I don't know if you saw. I tweeted on Twitter of that guy that was hitting like stalls with his toe. Yeah, I saw that. That's what I'm gonna. I'm whipping that out in the off season. You watch this. I'm gonna have 3 keyboards for all these toes. I'm just gonna whack them all.
Yeah, one
Check
time
out my Twitter if you haven't seen that.
in 5th grade, it was I broke my arm, so I put my mouse under my desk and played with my feet on Rocket League. That was fun.
There you go.
It was difficult, but
Wow.
thank you for having me. Thanks for doing this presentation type thing.
Legend.
It
We'll
was
see you at
great
Worlds.
meeting all of you. Yeah, hopefully I can see you guys at Worlds.
See you
Hopefully
there,
hang out
Legend.
for a little bit.
For sure.
Thanks for
Alright,
coming.
sounds good. Well, thanks for having.
Hey, appreciate it, Jack. All right, let's try to find some from, because we all have I assume the stream up. At least I know CJ does too. I'm trying to pull. If you guys have questions in chat and want to tag myself or CJ, go ahead.
Let's call it the Quickfire 10.
Yeah, we got some quick takes. Any like just quick off the cuff, like I'll ask a question and give us like a quick like 2-word answer. So, I'm gonna scroll up and see if I can find any real quick. Have you seen LBP's Insta with his tips? What?
Oh no.
My tips.
Don't watch any of LBP's TikToks or Instagram videos. Instagram
Wait, what
reels are
tips?
terrible.
I'm confused. What
You
Instagram
gave
tips?
like the Renegades tips, like how drink water and stuff.
Oh yeah, those are phenomenal. What do you mean?
Gamers need water. Drink water. Thanks for that.
Well, it's a short video, 30 seconds long for performance. Relax, mate. No, that's great.
Who's your dark horse for
Fernando.
Worlds? Who's your dark horse for
yeah.
Worlds?
Dark horse. I have to say Fury because I predicted them at the start of the year or the start of the season. So, what up, Rob G? Roberto Gamizo, love
Hey,
you.
shout out to
Fernando,
Scrum.
I'm still smurfing on the Rift. Yes, me and Lawler.
Yeah, I'm boosting him right now.
We're getting boosted, so.
We what was you played Yi jungle, right?
Yeah, jungle Yi,
I
12 kills.
logged on League for the first time in like 4 years. Dropped like a 12-3 any game against Iron Kids. I felt zero remorse. It was worth it. Let's see. Will there be a World CJCJ show? Chrome? CJ? That's on you guys.
We'll ask Chrome that. I know Jarzo's going to be there. Jarzo's really gone under the radar since he made his retirement from G2. So I'm looking forward to seeing him bounce back, and we'll hook him up. Maybe we'll find something. If we could find a place, find a setup, we'll hook something up. So that should be good fun. And is NRG bouncing back? I don't think so. No.
Either way. Lachlan, what do you think?
It's going to be very tricky for them, I think.
That's not yes or no.
Potentially, but no.
It's still not an answer. Come on, don't dodge it. If you had to put money on it, are they making it out of groups?
No way.
That's 3 no's. No. 3 no's. 1 and 2 at best. All right. We'll see how it happens. Maybe all 3 of us will be wrong. Why do you guys think OC hasn't been doing as well this season internationally?
I don't know. I think it's just inconsistencies, I'd say. Like, we pulled out, like, Pioneers have beaten a BDS, the number 1 seed. We beat Endpoint in the first regional, number 1 seed. Like, we obviously beaten Furia. Like, we've beaten good teams. We just haven't put together consistent performances. We've had a few weak ones in there, and you just can't afford to do that in some of these formats, like single elim and stuff that are really punishing. So, yeah, we probably got, I don't know. I think, I don't know. If we can put it all together and bring some consistency, then we can find a way. Because our best is honestly, I know it's good enough to be up there in the amongst the top. I think we can make top 8 when we're playing on our game. And I don't think it's very far fetched for that. And then once you're there, it's just about who performs well in the day, and we just got to get ourselves in that spot. So I'm thinking we're getting out a wild card, and then we're gonna have a good crack at main event. So
yep.
So what happens.
Love that.
Rate that tape.
This is a long one. With the scene getting younger and younger, kids having less social interaction with your things to change, be more snippets of player personalities. How do you find the balance between bringing people out of their shell and just having cringe, tough to watch interviews? This one it stems from making the players like comfortable. Like, get rid of this whole generic like, how'd you get into Rocket League? Like the super standard questions that you guys hear every single interview. You need to have a conversation and then let the editing do its job. Like, you can have a conversation with a pro that isn't super awkward and cringe. And yeah, maybe it's not going to be the greatest answers, but you have to be willing to put the time in. Like, if I sit down with you for a 15-minute interview and I've never met you, probably going to be pretty weird. But if we take like 2 hours to like get to know each other and we're like going out for an activity or something, rather than just like sitting in a one-on-one in a room with cameras and lights on your face, like that stuff is intimidating for them. So you bring them into an environment where they're comfortable, you're just hanging out, like go look at like a lot of the early BTS interviews and see the difference from pros that you didn't think had a personality compared to now. Like it's so different of an environment that is more welcoming and more like there is ways to accomplish it, even if they are not necessarily comfortable in front of a camera. Like there is ways to ease into it without a doubt. And I think it stems from how the interview and who the interviewee is. I recently did press at London, and like the difference in those players when they say, I'm media outlet this is my name, this is my question. And then there's me who peeks my head around and go, what's up, boys? And instantly Astral perks up and he's ready to talk about anything you want. It's just, it's a different environment when you have that like cadence or that charisma to it. And sometimes that takes like doing it with somebody else. Like if CJ is not comfortable with an interview and he brings Locke instead, like maybe it's a little bit different. So there's ways to do it. And that comes from time and experience. So yeah, there's
I think
ways
it's
to
like time constraints. Like especially we talk about how you said before, Lawler, like they don't film any content outside of the lands. Whereas if we were able to somehow, get around these guys when they're at home and stuff, and it's a much more comfortable thing. Like I know for like Lockie, you would nod in your head, like obviously you do, like you've done a lot of support work and stuff. It's a lot about making people comfortable rather than just sitting down and ticking boxes and just trying to get them to ask certain questions. As you said, it might be taking them out or taking them out to the shops and chatting to them and developing that relationship. But it's just, again, I guess it's a time thing. When you've got maybe 16 teams, 24 teams or whatever, trying to get all the guys in there and different languages and stuff like that. It's hard.
In worst case scenario, we get, Kronovi Mountain memes for the rest of his career, and Doomsy makes a parody video. Like worst case scenario, we get content. So like arguably one of the best videos in Rocket League history. So yeah, you just never know. Is one, can't read that. If you could pick a 1-0 team in the wild card to face from the top 8 seeds, who'd you pick?
A 1-0 team, so assuming this team is 1.
Yep.
So I guess likely.
Like your round 2, who's your ideal candidate?
I'd take an Optic. Round 2. But I think likely it's going to be like a. Because I guess if you're a 3-0 team, you're playing like a 3-2, 3-1. Hopefully it'll be 3-0, so we might be playing a close matchup like the winner of a Pioneers Veloce. I don't know if they'd make us play against OCE, but I guess that's just how the seeding might work. But it might be like a close game or like an 0-1. Who are 0-1 playing?
K Corp.
Yeah, like maybe one of those.
I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind a secret or Semper.
Oh yeah,
that's the name.
Give us one of those.
Yeah, secret Semper. That'd be nice. I'd like that.
I like that. Quick, 5 teams that are making playoffs.
5 teams making playoffs. Falcons, Furia, Moist, V1.
V1.
Space Station always find a way.
I like that.
I'd agree with those. I think those are pretty solid favorites. I like those.
It's funny that BDS and NRG aren't really in anyone's calculations right now. Like BDS could always
G2. I think G2 will probably make it. I don't think
G2.
Yep.
Well, they didn't go well in London, so who knows?
Oh yeah, that's true.
We'll see.
And a crowd, I reckon they'll get around it.
Rocket League ever get football club decals? I think with ownership stuff, probably not. I could see maybe like MLS and stuff. Psyonix has a sponsorship with a team. I forget who. Somewhere in San
I'm
Diego.
not too sure.
Yeah.
Take your hot take. Chrome's not happy.
Even drops up Buddy. Ooh.
He's getting slandered in chat here. I like he's always repping Space Station. That's what we love about him. He will die. He would die on the bed of that team if anyone
Rightfully so.
talks bad about him.
Let's see.
San Diego loyal. There you go.
Game of Mafia at Worlds? Probably not, unfortunately.
That'll come back eventually. BTS.
Yeah, Gold Rush is coming up in August, but BTS hopefully another one soon. Why are half the men in Australia named Lachlan and the other half named Cameron?
It's a really weird. I think I don't know. It's just a synergy we've built as a team.
It's a dream team, isn't it?
Stumbled across a couple of cameras and a couple of Lachlan's. Lawler Mum, here we go. Do you have a favorite moment to date as a pro? As a pro, I'm guessing you're saying I'm gonna take that as on the pitch, like playing. I'd probably say favorite moment. Probably first Sweden LAN, like the end point, or like I think that excitement of the first LAN back with a couple of years off COVID, and then we rolled end point. I think beating Furia on stage was really fun. I think just playing Sam, like when we play Furia, it's just so fun because you just know that like everyone's watching. Here we go again, OCE versus Sam, and we had a lot of fun with that. Maybe that's why we win because we actually enjoy ourselves. Maybe that's the secret of winning. We just need to have fun. Have fun, mate up.
All right, chat. We've got time for one more question. I want to get a bunch of them.
The last gold one.
Yep, and I'm gonna let CJ and Lachlan pick the best one. I'm gonna put the pressure on you guys. So if you guys have one good question to close it out, it can be about literally anything. Hit us with it.
Chuck it in there right now.
Yep. You guys got. I'll give you another minute.
I'll quickly jump in there. Someone asked, what team is the most like how you imagine off the game? Well, I think that every team that is of 15 and 16-year-olds play exactly like they do on the field as they are off the field. Just immature kids. Like, they just play like absolute, they don't have a brain on the field and they don't have a brain off the field. But that's what they do. They just have fun and they don't think about it. They don't feel pressure. So, yeah.
What an answer.
Team U. We could finish with Chrome's question. That's pretty good luck.
Yeah,
I'll
give it to Chrome. Yeah, team you really want to play. Is there a specific team? And tell me why.
There's only one team we always want to play.
There really only is one in there.
K-Dog knows who it is. It's always Furia. We said it at Saudi. Give us Furia again. These guys, they're winning $500,000 at Saudi, but they can't roll the OCE 1 seed. So give us Furia. Anytime, any place, get us out of wildcards straight into main event, and we want Furia first up, and we're just going to roll them. So
what is it about that Furia matchup that makes you guys so confident?
Well,
is it a playstyle thing? Is it?
We're just in their heads, Lawler. Like I spoke to Carter Saudi, and I was like, after they won, and I said, "You still won't beat us, though." And then he laughed and sort of like tapped his head. So we just got the mental edge. We've got the mental edge over Furia. They just know it. Doesn't matter how well they're playing.
We've planted the seeds.
You finally got a handshake with the boy. You took a photo and you did something. I don't know what you did.
Yeah.
But like you've ruined him.
Yeah, put those highlights up. Nice another 3-0. I just and now they're coming top 4, winning lands. So we got them again.
Planted the seeds.
They're our bunnies. Great relationship with them though. Good banter as well. But
really good
they're
guys.
great lads. Happy
Really
for them to win land. They're all paying off apartments, and I know cards going to Gucci stores, but I think that some of them are doing good things with the money.
Well, boys, it's been an absolute pleasure for myself as well as CJ and Lachlan. Shout outs again to production. They've been pulling in a lot of this stuff last second too. Like some of the graphics were sent to them last second, literally in a Discord chat, and they just pop it up and make it happen. So a lot of stuff on the fly. Massive love to everybody who either purchased tickets, showed up, asked questions in the show. I think stuff like that is a really cool way to keep things exciting. And it's different when you go from like reading a question in chat and then actually hearing the person ask it and be part of the conversation. So I know for a lot of people that is kind of intimidating. So I do appreciate y'all coming in and hanging out and asking the questions. But our World's preview show in partnership with Renegades and Pre-Addiction has officially come to an end. On behalf of myself, CJ, and Lachlan, we appreciate you guys taking the time. Shout out to production, Ian, the producer, and everybody else in the back. Without you guys, we can't do this stuff. So With that said, Worlds is literally a week away. August 4th is when these goes down. First round, you got Renegades up against Bravado. It's going to be a fun one. You won't want to miss it, but hopefully we see you guys there in person. Don't be afraid to say hi to us. I know these guys are more than willing to say hi, take photos, and of course CJ's got to feed that ego, so he's doing what he can.
Absolutely. Come say hi if you see me. Honestly, don't be scared. We wanna take photos and get around everyone. This is sick. This is it. World champs, we're here. We've built this whole season, the whole year for this. Can't wait. Thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. I think this was good fun.
Yeah, good time. Appreciate the show up. Thanks for everybody coming and hanging out. I know it's a late night stream on my channel. Everybody's like, what's happening? So glad you guys weren't too afraid and stuck around. So again, that does it for us. We appreciate you guys hanging out, and hopefully we see you at Worlds. Peace.